Hello, everyone. Welcome to 49ers After Dark. We're your hosts, Cohn and Jessie Naylor. Depending on where you are in the world, it might be Thanksgiving already. I'm completely out of focus, so let me just get right up in here, just like this.
There we go.
Just
Got it.
Bring it out. Sort of. I don't know. Anyway, good to see you. Sort of. I'm going to be kind of serious and blurry today. Jesse, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing fantastic, man. Listen, we've got Thanksgiving right around the corner. I get to eat a lot of food. I get to enjoy friends and family. Nothing's better than that. So I'm doing really good, Grant. How are you?
Man, I'm hanging in there. I'm sneaking by.
You're sneaking by? All right.
Can't complain.
Yeah, I got you.
But let's talk about what we're thankful for. Not what we're thankful for. What 49ers fans should be thankful for heading into Thanksgiving and this game against the Vikings that is very important.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can go tit for tat on this one.
Yeah.
The first thing that I will say is that they are actually in a meaningful game after losing 4 in a row and starting 3 and 5. I would say that's got to be number 1 on the list right there.
Yep. All right. Let's go back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay. Deebo Samuel. They should be so thankful that this guy is going crazy right now. I mean, one of the best seasons I've seen from a Niner player in a long time. Better than any season George Kittle's ever had. Sorry, George.
Yeah, that's definitely a big one. I got to go Bosa. Bosa coming back from an ACL, looking every bit as good, if not better, than he did in 2019. Definitely have to be thankful for that.
Yeah, definitely better. Brandon Ayuk, the man who wasn't as good as Trent Sherfield 2 months ago, is now so good that he's allowing the Niners to play Deebo Samuel at running back, which is probably his best position. And it definitely is his best. It's the best way to use him on a run-first team with a quarterback who's a little limited. No offense.
Yeah.
So he's really opened up this offense. Without Brandon Ayuk, the Niners wouldn't be able to do the things they're doing with Deebo Samuel at running back. So Brandon Ayuk finally showing Kyle Shanahan that you're good. Thank you for running hard in practice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Elijah Mitchell, speaking of the run game, Mostert went down. Wilson was gone before the season started. Somebody had to step up. Elijah Mitchell has done everything and then some. Have to be thankful for Elijah Mitchell.
D'Amico Ryans is kicking ass. He's doing a really good job. I was thinking before the season, the biggest question mark on the team would be him. He's far from the biggest question mark. He's holding his own at minimum. I mean, really, you'd think we'll see what he could do if he has some legit corners. I think he's an asset, and he's this whole defensive staff, from him to Kosaric to Undlin in the secondary, they seem to be doing a good job.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got one more that really stands out to me, and that's Jimmy frickin' Ward. Wow, what a difference it was when Jimmy was not there. And now that he is there, it's, night and day. I think that a lot of people, Vish especially, does a really good job of laying out the importance of Jimmy Ward. But until you don't see it for a week, like what happened against Arizona and Colt McCoy, then you realize, wow, this guy is really good and he's cleaning up a lot of other mistakes that are happening on that field. Yeah, Jimmy Ward's really good.
How about the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo's improving his trade value?
That's a good one.
Couldn't hurt.
That.
Couldn't hurt.
It couldn't hurt.
Couldn't hurt. I mean, it's not bad. I think that Jimmy Garoppolo, honestly, has done the most you could hope from him.
Yeah.
Neither of us would have set up this situation for this season, having both of them here. But when that was the reality, Jimmy's really done everything you'd want, from the organization standpoint. Play well, make the Niners contenders and make yourself tradable, because he wasn't tradable last year. Stay healthy. He's got 7 more games and he needs to not get hurt. But so far, he's improving his trade value. That's good. Anything we could say for Lance? I don't really know much you can say there. The fact that
he thankfully got drafted. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you could say the fact that he hasn't played and gotten his confidence ruined. But to me, not to go off on a serious tangent here, like, are any of these rookie quarterbacks bad, or are they just on bad teams? Like Trevor Lawrence looked terrific to me, but he's having a bad rookie year because the Jaguars are awful. I don't know. It seems like maybe Trey Lance is bad, but the Niners are pretty good, and there's so many ways they could prop him up, and they're doing it for Jimmy Garoppolo right now. So I guess what you're thankful for is that he's getting the Jimmy Garoppolo treatment when Jimmy was a young man, and no one really knows what he is, so he can just at least he's not getting the Colt McCoy treatment. Colt McCoy played for the Browns, got beat to smithereens, and was a career backup. And now all of a sudden at 35, people are like, maybe we should have given Colt
more chances. I don't know.
At least Trey Lance is healthy. How about that? At least Trey Lance is on the team and healthy. That's what they should be thankful for.
Absolutely. And your point about, rookies playing good teams, whatever. I tweeted out the other day. I said the Patriots are the number one scoring defense in the NFL. And they are, I think, fifth or sixth in turnovers. I said, wow, Mac Jones is really good. It's the defense is amazing over there.
And their run game's pretty good too.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about let's get down to it. What has changed to turn the 49ers season around, in your opinion?
Okay, so I think it's multiple things. One, they're getting some players back at the right time. The 49ers are very healthy, really outside of that Verrett injury at this point. And so I think that Kyle has some people in place that he trusts. That's number one. But Grant, I've killed Kyle Shanahan, and I'm not fully backing off it. I got to see how this season turns out. But if I'm going to kill him when things aren't going well, then I got to give him some credit when things are going well. And there's a couple things that I have to point out. Grant's like, I'm not agreeing with this. There are a couple things that I have to point out. So for one, he has come out a couple times and owned some situations, right? So that's number one. Good to hear that. Even if it's half owning it, it's better than what we've seen in the past. And number two, he's starting to show a little bit of putting your arm around your player mentality. You saw it last week with Jennings when he kept his cool and he got hit, the way he celebrated, patted him on the chest, gave him some love. So I think those little things definitely matter. And he's not talking quite as negative about the players there. So again, is it perfect? No. Is it better? Yeah. And again, if I'm going to kill him when things are going bad, then I have to give him some credit. So I think that's only fair.
That's a good answer. That's a really good answer. I'm going to say two things. I mentioned it before. The emergence of Ayuk has allowed the Niners to bring their best player to running back, because really, like, Elijah Mitchell's cool, but he's not Mostert. Like, he hasn't had those long runs. Mostert would kill you at running back, and Debo's even better. He's like the same style, but better. And now when you have Debo and Ayuk on the field, like, Kittle's an afterthought, and he's really good, but he's like the third banana now. It's amazing to see. That's kind of changed the whole dynamic. Like, now the Niners, it's really hard to play man coverage against them, because what happens when you put Debo at running back? Where's the corner? Is he going to play linebacker? And they're like they were having these problems. Debo being in the backfield, there'd be man-to-man coverage, and they're like, oh, wait, who? And then he'd just get to the edge. So that's changed things around. But frankly, the biggest thing that's changed is luck. And luck's a big thing. But if you go back, they lost to the Cardinals at home. Ayuk fumbled. Kittle fumbled. And there was that fumble. I don't know. I forgot who fumbled on the Cardinals, but like Fred Warner was about to fall on it and like scored it away. Like, that was bad.
There's that picture where there's four 49ers right there, and somehow they didn't get it.
Yeah. Exactly. And like now, like against the Rams, Robert Woods tears his ACL the Friday before the game. And then in the game, like, the first pick is just served up to Jimmy Ward. That's luck. And then the next one is just like a pass that bobbles off Tyler Higbee right into, like, that's luck. If Robert Woods was in the game, those passes wouldn't have been going to those receivers. And then the next week, you got freaking like the Jaguars just annihilating themselves immediately. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much, like, the Niners do have new things going for them, but let's see how they do in like a real competitive game against a team that doesn't beat themselves in the first quarter.
Well, and luck's really starting to play out across the season, right? You
Uh-huh.
look at things, and there's most of these teams. There's no pure, hey, this team is Super Bowl bound.
No,
Usually by now in the season, you have that. That is not in existence right now.
no.
So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have no secondary players at all. Their whole secondary is obliterated. You got the Packers, who have 4 of their best players out, and 3 of them may not come back.
It might be Arizona because they're actually winning games with their backup quarterback, which is
Yeah.
kind of scary if
Yeah.
you think about it.
Yeah. Right now, they're probably in the best spot, but I just don't,
But their
I don't
quarterback
see
isn't
this a
even
lot.
healthy, right? I mean, it's
That's
hard to
true.
say. Like
That's
their
true.
quarterback is
That's true.
hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even they lost JJ Watt for the season. Like, that's a
It
big loss for that team. So, I just feel like things are starting to line up, and sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. So I'm kind of
absolutely.
with you on that one.
And maybe this is a better season than 2019. And then, because in 2019 they started out hot, 8-0.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they lost to Atlanta at home. There were some bad signs that kind of foreshadowed what happened in the Super Bowl. This year, theoretically, they could finish really strong, and maybe that's better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You definitely would rather finish strong.
The Vikings game will seal the tone for the rest of the season. I'm definitely thankful for the content from both of you every day. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Jesse, hold on. Nope. Boom. Jesse, are the 49ers contenders or pretenders?
Oh, man.
Gosh,
This one's a tough one. It is a really tough one, because I agree with the comment that was just made that we're going to find out like who this team really is after Sunday. I might go with my heart on this one, but I'm going to go with contenders just because I laid out that no team really has separated themselves. The Cardinals right now are probably the best, but even they have their own issues. And I feel like the 49ers at this moment in time are extremely healthy. And that's part of that luck playing on your side. Again, we're looking at the Vikings. This is basically a playoff game, Grant, like right here coming up. And we're going to talk about that later. But they've got 3 of their 4 starting defensive linemen out for this game. That's luck. Like, that's huge. So I got to say, just by proxy and that there is no legit, like, hey, this is the team, I got to say that they're contenders.
Okay, before I give my answer, let me ask you a question. Let me answer this question with a question, because it's my show.
Okay.
Jesse, do you think, are the Raiders contenders or pretenders? The Raiders.
Pretenders. I'm going to go pretenders.
I would agree. The Raiders are pretenders. Do you know what the Raiders' record is right now?
5-5, probably.
Right. And like, so I'm just saying, like, there's always recency bias in sports. The Niners have won 3 of 4.
Sure.
The Raiders have lost 3 in a row, and the Niners are better than the Raiders. I'm not saying the Niners are worse than the Raiders, but it's kind of funny how perception is. The Niners have just beat Jacksonville and the Rams, who kind of beat themselves and who they always beat. And you're like, all right, well, I'm feeling good about the Niners right now. I'm feeling really good about the Niners right now. But I mean, they have the same exact record as the Raiders, who no one takes seriously. So
right.
I gotta say pretenders, and don't be mad at me, Niner fans, but best case scenario, they're a wild card team. And then as a West Coast wild card team, it's tough because the trips, it's road game after road game after road game. And I know the Niners almost pulled it off in 2013. They went to Carolina, which was cross country. Then they went to Green Bay, which was far. And then they went up to Seattle, which isn't too far, and they almost pulled it off, but they didn't. It's a lot of flying. That's why the Niners go to Youngstown and West Virginia to avoid that. And you can't in these. So usually as a West Coast wildcard team, it's just you're a pretender. No offense. But let's be specific on the Niners. Like Jimmy Garoppolo taking up 13.4% of the cap. This secondary, I mean, I don't know. Probably a pretender.
They for sure, if they make the playoffs, they have the worst quarterback out of all those teams. That's a big deal.
The worst secondary, man. I mean, not the worst corners. You can go to town on K1. You can go to town on Norman. I like Mosley, but that's 2 out of the 3.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Chark's going to be healthy week to week. Sorry, Jaquaski. He's good, though.
Well, since you put me together, that's what I call that. You put me together there with the question. I'm going to
Yeah,
push back a little bit, right?
there, go ahead.
Because
Take the
the
last one.
Raiders, the difference is the Raiders are a dumpster fire off the field,
No,
and
you're absolutely right.
that's a big difference, right?
That was like a straw man argument. It wasn't really the
They're
Niners were
trending this way,
definitely.
and the Niners are trending this way.
No, that's true. That is true. That is true. But I'm still gonna say pretenders, but they do like they have potential, man. I have potential.
You,
Honestly, if they could somehow get Trey Lance, I'm sorry, I'm gonna stick to this forever. But look what they're asking Jimmy to do. They're like,
I
hey, line up in the shotgun and hand off. Oh, I know someone else who could do that. Really? He could actually help the run. Have you guys been watching Philly recently? I'm gonna talk about Philly in a second, but have you watched Philly recently?
yeah.
They're using Jalen Hurts exactly how the Niners could be using Lance, and their run game is going crazy right now, and that's why they're winning. That's why they're winning. So the Niners have a good run game. Imagine if it was freaking Lance and Debo doing the zone. Can you imagine?
It's 40. Okay, give them
so
40 runs, 45 runs in a game and 20 passes. That's the exact game plan
He's
you want for a rookie.
Handing off. Trey could do that. It's
and he has the extra dynamic.
It's like slowly they're getting their best players in the right spots. Like, oh, you got Ayuk in the game. Okay. You got Debo at running back. Okay. Maybe you could get your first round pick in at quarterback if we're just handing off and throwing 19 times a game. I don't know. What are we thinking? I don't know. What are we doing? I'm just saying it could happen. And if that happens, I wouldn't write the Niners off. I wouldn't write them off. Although it's kind of tough to ask your 21-year-old. We're going down tangents. I'm sorry. Let's talk about the Vikings game. Let's talk about the Vikings game. I was at first looking at this like, you know what? This game is meaningless because the wild card teams are going to be the Rams, the Niners, and the Vikings. So, one team will win, one team will lose. But, this is all for seeding. I've been looking a little bit closer. Look, the Eagles are a factor. They've won 3 of 4. And no one's paying attention to the Eagles out here in the West Coast, but let me just tell you what their remaining schedule is. First of all, they haven't had their bye week yet, but here are the remaining opponents. The Jets, the Giants twice, Washington twice, and week 18 against Dallas, who may be resting their starters. So what I'm saying is that's a team that's, even though they're 5-6, they could get to 10 wins. And I'm not certain the Niners will. They might be a 9-win team this year, which means this game against the Vikings could be for the 7th seed. That's why I think this is close to a must-win game.
What is Washington football team's record?
4-6. And they just lost Chase Young.
I know, but okay, so I'm with you on the Eagles.
I mean, Washington is bad, but they're
Washington. No, but Washington might also be the team to worry about. Like if they could win both games against the Eagles, they just beat Tampa and they just beat Carolina. Like they're starting to catch fire a little bit too. So, okay, that's a good one. I think
Philly has they're playing the Giants in the Meadowlands this week.
That's huge.
And they're playing the Jets the next week, and they have a bye week. So here's the thing: like if the Niners lose to the Vikings, let's put it that way, they would be 5-6. And the Philly would most likely beat the Giants this week and go to 6-6. So boom, you're behind Philly, right? Like it could happen in a few days. It is a very important game for or the Niners beat the Vikings and they go to 6-5. They're ahead of Philly, and the Vikings fall back. And now the Vikings are in a tough spot. It's a big game.
It's a huge game, and in fact, again, that's what excites me about this game is you're going to know what team this Niner team is. Are they the team that has won 2 straight games running the ball 40 times and finding an identity? Or are they the team that lost 4 straight times and even when they beat the Bears, they lost to the Cardinals? We don't know who this team is. We think we know. We've thought we knew a few times. We're finding out this Sunday who this team is. And if they win this game, things are going to be a lot more smooth sailing. Can they make it without winning? Sure. But it's a hell of a lot harder if they lose this game. This is going to be a playoff type game for both these teams, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, the way I look at it is like I wasn't thinking about Philly. I saw New Orleans. New Orleans is currently ahead of the Niners, but they're sinking. I mean, Trevor, they can't win with Trevor Siemian. He sucks. Sorry,
he does.
He sucks. And so I'm thinking, okay.
I didn't even know he was still in the league. I
Right?
had no idea.
Wow. So anyway, thinking it's going to be the Niners, Vikings, and Rams. But then I looked, Josh Dubow pointed it out. AP, shout out Josh Dubow. Look at the Eagles. They're 5-6. They've won 3 or 4. They're a lot like the Niners. They at one point lost 5 of 6. They're a lot like the Niners, and they've found their identity. They're running the ball. But instead of having Jimmy, they have like Trey Lance, basically. They have Trey Lance. Jalen Hurts, who's quite good. Doesn't have quite the arm strength as Trey, but he's quite good. And they're winning, and they have a way easier schedule than the Niners. Like, real quick, the Niners have Tennessee, Cincinnati, the Rams in Seattle. This game, like, I'm not certain they're going to get to 10 wins. They're probably going to get to 9, and 9 could get them there. But Philly, I'm thinking Philly's going to get to 10. I'm thinking they will. Even though we have to go 5-1 down the stretch. I mean, they could do it. They could do it.
Especially if Dallas is resting.
Games. Yeah. Or how about this? Here's the last one. Philly gets to 9 wins. Niners get to 9 wins. Minnesota gets to 9 wins. 3-way tie. Okay?
Now it goes to the NFC.
I think it's not head-to-head because the Niners would have beaten Philly, but maybe Minnesota beat the Niners. Like, it's not. I don't think it's head-to-head if it's a 3-way tie. It's like your NFC record. So it could get weird. Niners win. You got to win this. This is a very freaking important game, this one right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And in fact, they could lose to Seattle, but this Viking game is way more important because then it is head-to-head. They beat the Eagles and they beat the Vikings. So if they all finish with the same record, you're good. So
huge freaking game, and you have home field advantage. Take care of business.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Minnesota isn't great. They have Justin Jefferson, who Kyle Shanahan called the best wide receiver in the league. Okay, cool. Dalvin Cook, great. Thielen, Cousins. I mean, you don't have Daniil Hunter. Everson Griffin, maybe not. Like,
and he's not playing.
Find a way to win. Find a way. Because even
Tomlinson
if you lose
too.
the Vikings, that's no guarantee of anything. You could definitely go to Seattle the next week and lose. But if you lose, the road to the playoffs gets murky.
You need help at that point. You need help. Yeah, you need help.
You ever read Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Yes.
As your attorney, I would advise you to win this game. Fossey says, love the content, Grant and Jesse. Got to go watch the Dubs play right now, but here's $5. Go Niners and happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Are we competing with the Dubs right now? Sorry, Dubs.
It's no competition.
Everyone knows you need to catch up to basketball to the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter. How can you call the Niners pretender when we have a top 10 defense and a high-powered offense right now? All our losses have been close except for Arizona. Those are good points. Good points. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, man, maybe I'm wrong. But what's the Niners' best win right now? The Rams? They beat themselves. They beat themselves in the first quarter to those 2 picks. Like, did Jimmy Ward? I'm sorry. They beat themselves. And they're coming off a winning streak against Jacksonville. Look, let's see them beat Minnesota first. If they beat Minnesota, I'll still think they're pretenders. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
At least you're honest.
I'm sorry. Having Debo gives them like a chance because might be the best player in the league right now. I'll give him that. Debo gives them a puncher's chance in any game. I'll say I don't. And now that they can just line him up and running back and hand him the ball, because I didn't. It's like, okay, you got Debo, but who's getting him the ball? Like,
right?
Jimmy can't do it consistently, but now it's like just hand it to him. Oh, that's okay. Touche.
That's easier.
That's smart. Yeah. I like that because I don't root against the Niners, but sometimes I sympathize with their opponent. And anytime the Debo's in the backfield, I'm like, oh, guys, are you ready for this? You're going to get screwed back here. You're not ready.
Yeah.
This is bad. This is all bad. I want Lance to play also, but that's emotion. Facts. Jimmy is the number 2 most efficient quarterback in the league behind Stafford and ahead of Rodgers. We are currently 76% in the red zone, best in the NFL. Based on that, why should we switch now? Of course we shouldn't switch now. No one's saying you should switch now. But, if Jimmy were to, sprain his pinky finger and not be able to play for a minute, I'd be interested to see what. But the thing is, you have to actually. It's what I want to say real quick. You can't run your offense, but if you do what Philly's doing and embrace your running quarterback and be like, if he's good, he's going to be good running. And don't do it like you did against Arizona, where you're like between the tackles and stuff, but you're actually like letting him get in space and stuff. It works for Philly. It works for Arizona. It works. I'm just saying.
You're a running team, and Trey Lance helps you run the ball, so that's not a bad thing. That's
You were talking about 11 on
is.
11 football. Use them both. Dang, Jimmy, why you bogarting it? Come on. Why you so greedy, though? Joseph says, don't know if you guys touched on it earlier. Did either of you watch film on Devin Funchess? Do you think we will see him at any point this season?
No, I don't think so.
I
didn't. No.
But he's
no.
He's one of these guys. He should be like Jordan Matthews and switch to tight end and be in the practice squad.
They asked him about that. I think they asked Shanahan about it. He's like, well,
why is Jordan Matthews still on the practice squad? Like, dude, retire. They're paying you like nothing. What? He must really like working out.
He likes football.
How do you sell that to your wife? Hey, I'm gonna go be on a practice squad. How?
Make $60,000 a year?
Yeah. How do you do that? I don't know. God love the Matthews because they must be. Maybe he's not married. I don't know. We're a pretender with Jimmy at quarterback. Yeah, pretty much. You said it. Kinda. All right. So, but that being said, there's a scenario where he comes back in 2022. Alert. There is a scenario where Jimmy Garoppolo comes back in 2022. The announcers have been mentioning it slyly on television the last few weeks during the games. And today Kyle Shanahan was asked about it and he was like, well, anything can happen. I believe him, man. I believe him. I don't know how Trey Lance wound up here, and I feel bad for him. He might want to ask for a trade, but it seems to me that if this team makes the playoffs, they're going to keep Trey Lance on the bench and bring Jimmy Garoppolo back for all the reasons that they did that this year. I mean, nothing will change. I mean, every single way that Kyle Shanahan has found a way to keep Jimmy in there and say it's the best. We got to do whoever gives us the best chance to. I mean, if you make the playoffs, hard to say that the guy you didn't trust during the playoff run is now gives you a better chance to win than the guy who got you there by your own logic. So sorry to be a downer, but it seems to me that Kyle is sort of preparing us. Now they haven't made the playoffs yet, but if they do, if they make the playoffs at minimum, Trey's going to have to compete for it. So Jimmy's coming back for training camp at minimum.
Oh man,
the way I see it. You know I'm right. I'm right.
You gave me one out here, right? I've been saying I'll lay off the fire Kyle Shanahan as long as they make the playoffs or Trey Lance plays a lot. There is a third scenario. If Jimmy Garoppolo is brought back, fire Kyle Shanahan. I'm done. Like, that's it. There's no way you can make this kid sit 3 years. You really think playoffs? I think they have to go to a Super Bowl and possibly win a Super Bowl to do it.
Nah, I know you feel that way now, but football is a very emotional sport, and if they make the playoffs, fans will be happy. I promise you.
No,
I promise you. And ownership will be happy too. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm cynical. I think if they make the playoffs, they're going to run it back again and say this is a Super Bowl roster, and Nick Bosa got held, and we should have won. And I can already hear it. Nick Bosa got held on this third down. We should have won. There was a bad call. There was one fluky. This guy didn't execute. They always make it. They always have a reason to feel like they should have won. They actually were the better team. Telling you. They're going to do it. They're going to run it back once again, and they're not going to give Trey Lance an opportunity. I mean, if Kyle really, really, really liked Trey Lance like we want to think he does, then he wouldn't do that. But he at no point this year has given any indication that he does. I know we've heard rumors and stuff, but he hasn't indicated it. I'm still waiting for him.
You're right.
He won't. He doesn't. I mean, him not bringing in Trey Lance in a blowout said a lot. I don't care what people say. Some people thought that was a mountain out of a molehill. It was highly irregular. You saw Monday Night Football. The Bucks were up 17 in the fourth quarter, and they brought out Brady with 7 minutes left. The Niners were up 30. They're up 27. And they're like, I don't know if we trust Trey to hand off. So they brought in Jimmy, who got sacked in the fourth quarter of a blowout. Like, forget Trey. If you even like Jimmy as much as you said you did, you wouldn't want him taking that sack because we've seen him get hurt, twist an ankle, land on a shoulder. I mean, he's not exactly – he's kind of Mr. Glass at quarterback, and he took a sack. Come on, man. Just say it.
Conspiracy. Maybe he wants Jimmy to get hurt.
Oh, I'd hate to think that. I'd hate to think
that. No, there's no way.
I would hate to think that. But
There's no
anyway,
way.
he doesn't seem like a guy who's super excited to develop Trey Lance. He's not. So if Jimmy Garoppolo can give him any excuse to keep this charade going, I think he will.
Golly.
That being said, they haven't made the playoffs yet. They haven't beat the Vikings yet.
Grant, there's no way. There is no no way that if they make the playoffs, they bring him back. I can't go. I refuse to believe it right now, Grant.
Hey, let me just say it again, though. You make the playoffs, they win, or let's say they go make the playoffs, lose in the first, they're out. What has Trey Lance done to make you feel like you should make let's go back to Mahomes and Alex Smith. That's the blueprint. From all reports, Mahomes was lighting it up in practice, and everyone on the team understood that where things were going. And Alex Smith had a good year, but then he stunk and lost to Mariota in the playoffs. And in retrospect, they should have went to Mahomes a whole lot. So they probably would have beat Mariota in the playoffs had they gone to Mahomes. I mean, that's not the vibe coming out of the Niners right now, that he's just like everyone kind of knows it. That's not what people are saying. So if he hasn't been given the opportunity to go through the growing pains and show it now, what's going to change? Like, he's going to need to actually go to training camp and prove it. So I'm just saying, I'm just saying, I know it's kind of headache inducing, but I like the drama. I'm not mad. Jody says, I'm enjoying you guys this evening, Grant. You are in rare form, and I'm cracking up. Is Davila our biggest fear Sunday? Happy Thanksgiving. I think you mean Davin. No, it's Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, as Kyle Shanahan said, is the best wide receiver in the league. Like, I don't know. Only the Niners can't cover Justin Jefferson. And unlike the Rams, he's not the only threat like Cooper Kupp. Like, there's also Adam Thielen, who's a baller, and Dalvin Cook, who can get you to us on a check down. So the Niners, Nick Bosa has to have the game of his life, and Eric Armstead, and Arden Key.
That's the problem. Is they can beat you in so many different ways. They can control the clock with Dalvin, or they can air it out. Either way is not a good look.
That being said, their run defense is horrible bad. It's atrocious. Let's get back
especially on the road. Yep.
True. Let's see how he leaves in 2022. To me, if they lose and don't make the playoffs, if the 49ers don't make the playoffs, he's not coming back next year. But my question is that enough? To me, here's what Kyle Shanahan's doing, is he's setting up Jimmy to be the fall guy. Jimmy's doing great. We like Jimmy. Jimmy's great. He's playing great. We missed the playoffs. Jimmy's fault. We lost in the playoffs. Jimmy's fault. The guys were open. I mean, he's setting up Jimmy for the running him over with the bus, you know? So if they miss the playoffs, Kyle will conveniently blame it on Jimmy. My question is, well, do you agree with that? And two, if you were Jed, would you accept Kyle saying it's Jimmy's fault? Now I'm going to Trey.
Listen, if they don't make the playoffs, I've been very clear. I want Kyle gone unless there's a scenario where Trey played a lot. But under this scenario where they're at now, he's not going to. So no, I wouldn't accept that.
Oh, now you want to go to Trey. Now you want to go to Trey.
Yeah.
When your job's on the line and you missed the playoffs, did you play Trey? Were you eager to develop Trey at all? No.
Right.
But now when it's like you think I might fire you or trade you, you're like, oh, now I'm eager to start Trey Lance. I don't know, man. Yeah. To me, though, that's Kyle's. That's the ace in it. Like, he knows he kind of needs to make the playoffs because it's year 5 and he hasn't made it a lot. But if he doesn't, he could be like, all right, well, now I'm going to Trey Lance. I don't know, man. Then what was the purpose of 2021? What did you accomplish this year other than waste everyone's time? Anyway, I do think that's what's going to happen. If they miss the playoffs, Garoppolo will be gone, and it'll be Trey Lance time, and it'll be up to Jed York if he's cool with that.
Yeah,
blame it on Jimmy, because honestly, it's not Jimmy's fault. Jimmy's doing
he's
doing his thing.
Definitely not.
He's
playing fine. He's playing fine. He's playing
to the best of his abilities. That's a good way to put it. I think he's playing to the best of his abilities. He's not turning the ball over.
He's protecting the ball.
Is he terrified of throwing downfield? Yes. Does he have PTSD from the Super Bowl and missing Emmanuel Sanders? Yes. Is that why I would rather have Kirk Cousins or literally any other quarterback? Yes. But to the best of his abilities, he's knocking it out. So it's not his fault, but it's going to end up being his fault. And Jed, how do you feel about that? Are you going to let Kyle do? Who's done a better job this year, Jimmy or Kyle? Jimmy or Kyle?
Oh, Jimmy.
Probably Jimmy.
Yes.
Probably Jimmy. But
yeah,
Kyle getting Debo to running back. All of a sudden, I'm like, okay, Kyle. John York showed up that one day, and you're like, okay, well, I got some stuff. So I'm not writing you off. There's 7 games left, but I can see where this is going. It's Jimmy's going to be the fall guy. Give me the fall
guy. For me, anything short of the Super Bowl, he doesn't come back. That's my opinion. I don't think that making the playoffs is enough.
Hey,
I don't think
that's what I would do.
Playoffs is enough.
That's what I would do, but I'm just trying to like read the tea leaves here. I'm not trying to say what we should do.
No, for sure. That's my thought. Because here's the thing. Going into the season, the reason they're running it back again is because they thought that they had a chance to win a Super Bowl. You have 32 free agents. You can't run it back. Like it's not possible next year. You have too many free agents. So you can't run it back for that reason. So it's a perfect time to say, listen, we gave it one last shot. We really thought we were that team. We're not. It's time to move on. We're turning over the whole roster other than these 5 or 6 guys.
Allow me to retort. Kyle Shanahan is what, 7 games under 500?
Yeah.
And he signed through 2025. And what he says his job is to win the game in front of him. So for as many years as he wants, he can say, I'm going to start the quarterback who gives me the best chance to win this week. That's what he's been saying all year, right? Right?
Yeah.
And he can do that.
It's a fireable offense, Grant.
Right.
Grant, it's a fireable
offense. I know it is. But think about it from Kyle's perspective. He's the most arrogant coach in the league. He's like,
of course he is.
I'm signed through 2025. So I got you by the short hairs. If you fire me, then I'm going to get a new job tomorrow. And now I'm getting paid by 2 places. So what do you want to do? What do you want to do, Jed? What you trying to do, Jed? What are you going to do, Jed? That's why I say, and I'm going to beat this drum hard if they go down in flames. Jed, here's what you do. You trade him. It's the John Gruden trade. He is John Gruden 2.0. 2 firsts, 2 seconds. They got $8 million back in 2001. So whatever that is in 2021, 20 million, whatever. A lot of money plus 2 firsts and 2 seconds. That's what you get. Period. Send him to Chicago. Whatever. Send him to Chicago. Let him get. He loves Justin Fields. So let him coach Justin Fields. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet. He's done really good the last couple weeks. He got Debo running back. I like it. I'm trying to figure out why would you think Kyle loves Jimmy when he never wanted Jimmy? After the Super Bowl, he was done with Jimmy. He was never his guy. Yeah, but Jimmy wasn't forced on him. Jimmy wasn't forced on him. Kyle is just like Gruden in that he's never satisfied with his quarterback. He's never, ever satisfied with his quarterback, which is one of the things I don't like about Kyle. This Trey thing is different. It almost feels like Kyle was, feels like he was coerced. Like, I liked Mac Jones and everyone told me this was wrong. And not only is he the wrong pick, but it's going to make us look bad. We're going to look racist and this and that. And I was right. And I'm going to stick to my guns from here on. I'm never going to let that happen. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that.
Yeah. Here's the thing with the whole Jimmy. I agree that was like one of my big things is it wasn't just Jimmy missing games. It's Kyle isn't happy with Jimmy. But my gosh, I mean, for a guy you're not happy with, to pass on Tom Brady and
he wasn't happy with Tom Brady. He was like, let me look at that film. Meh. Like Kyle, he's not going to be happy unless it's him in the game throwing the passes himself. Otherwise, he's going to be like, I don't know, man. You missed that one read that one time.
Yeah, that's
your quarterback was 146. Well, should have been 157.
Yeah, you're right. He's like that with everybody, though. That's who he is. Was
like that.
Yep.
Hold on.
What was that comment? I don't
Hey, Grant, next time Mac plays another good game, can you ask Shanahan why he drafted Lance ahead of Jones? Yeah. Because Kyle, I told you to draft Mac Jones. I clearly said that. No, I want to real quick. This is just a little aside, but Mac Jones is playing well. Yeah, he's on a really good team. Trevor Lawrence is struggling. No, he's not. The Jaguars are struggling. Justin Fields is struggling. No, he's not. The Bears are struggling. He's really good. The only reason the Bears competed against the Niners because of Justin Fields. I was there. It wasn't Khalil Herbert or anyone on their defense. It was him single-handedly competing against a team that's a contender, according to Jesse. No, for real. I think he's a hell of a player. Now, Zach Wilson, I don't know, man. He was a one-year wonder at a small school who looked like kind of, I don't know about
I
him.
never thought Zach Wilson would be any good. So,
But dude, if you put Trey Lance on the Patriots, I bet he'd be turning it up.
yeah, he would be doing just fine. Yeah, of course he would.
All right, so let's say the Niners miss the playoffs, and the Niners trade Jimmy Garoppolo for whatever they can get, conditional third, whatever, and they commit to Trey Lance as they should have this year. How do they replace Jimmy G? Like, it ain't Nate Sudfeld. Forget that. So what would you do?
No. Well, what I would do is I would find a quarterback that can move a little bit, right? You don't want to change the offense up too much. I want a quarterback that PJ Walker cat or whatever for Carolina.
He's good.
He would be great. I would love to have him.
Yep.
What do I think they do? I think they end up with a guy like Andy Dalton. I think that's probably who they would target. So I'll go with Andy Dalton, but I would go with PJ Walker.
Ooh.
I agree.
Ooh. No, I don't know why I feel this way, but all of a sudden, I'm a big Colt McCoy fan. Like, I was there. Just seeing it in person. He just destroyed the Niners. He didn't just kind of beat them. He was 22 of 26, 22 of 26. And it was all modest throws with a couple long stuff. But I was sitting there thinking, okay. What makes Jimmy Garoppolo better than Colt McCoy? Jimmy Garoppolo is making $27 million this year. He's made $100 million in his career. Colt McCoy is making $1 million this year. And Colt McCoy is kicking his ass. Now, they're not like playing each other, but kicking his ass. And then he struggled against Carolina. That's a good defense. And it's Colt McCoy. But last week, he just eviscerated the Seahawks. And it's not like a Jimmy G evisceration where it's like 180 yards and a couple touchdowns. It's like, no, 350 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like, okay, Colt. To me, what happened to Colt McCoy is he got drafted by the Browns and had to play right away. What would Jimmy Garoppolo be today if he got drafted by the Browns and had to play right away? He'd be
out.
Colt McCoy. He'd be Colt McCoy. So if Colt McCoy had gotten the Jimmy Garoppolo treatment where you were drafted by the Patriots and dubbed, labeled as Tom Brady's heir apparent and got to sit for 3.5 years, and so you were just nothing. You were just a mystery. I mean, it looks like he can do everything Jimmy Garoppolo can do, plus move a little bit better. So will it cost you $2 million? So you could get like basically quasi Jimmy Garoppolo production for $2 million and have him be like cool being a backup. He's backing up Kyler Murray. That's a lot. He's quite similar to. I mean, if he's down, if he's trying to get an extra $1 million, why don't you come over here? I'm just saying,
100 mil.
Boy, just saying. Everyone's giving Jimmy Garoppolo a ton of praise as he deserves, but it's because he's in a big market, relatively speaking, on the West Coast. No one's giving Colt McCoy any praise right now. I mean, he's out. What about Colt?
Colt is this year's Grant Cohn's Mitch Trubisky. I mean, is that fair to say?
Mitch Trubisky would eat your heart out. He's never played as well as Colt McCoy is playing right now. I'm just saying. Dude's playing really well.
Yeah, listen, he is, and he's doing it without Hopkins. He's doing it without a real dominant run game. He's fine. He would be a really good replacement. I would be cool with Colt McCoy being our backup quarterback. I'd be totally fine with that. I'd want that over Andy Dalton. I don't want Andy Dalton here. I do want PJ Walker, though.
Andy Dalton just seems like his best days are behind him. So Colt's having this little renaissance.
Yeah, he is.
It's like Colt was a spread offense quarterback in college. I don't know if people remember Colt McCoy, but was he not a Heisman winner? He put up numbers in college. He was in the Sam Bradford.
Texas, right? He was Texas.
He was in Texas when Sam Bradford was at Oklahoma. And Colt McCoy put up big, I think he threw like 50 touchdowns in a season. He put up huge numbers, but he was a spread offense guy, kind of like Alex Smith in college. And they didn't translate, and he got drafted by the Browns, and he was kind of a career backup. But he actually spent 3 or 4 years with Washington and Sean McVay. And that was him, just saying. Anyway, that was 5 minutes on Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy. Wow, that's impressive.
Let's stop. All right, over under. You lead us. We're gonna go through a few different 7 or 8 things. Over under for the 49ers. You know how it plays. You'll say like X amount of snaps for D Ford, and I'll be like over or under. Or you too. That's how the game works, everyone. I just explained it.
That's how over under works.
Yep.
All right. You want me to run them?
Yep.
Oh, hold on. Shoot. I don't think I have it. Either way, I remember
I got it.
I got it. All right. So over or under.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on.
Snaps.
Jordan says, Grant, no way Colt McCoy can hand off 40 times and throw 15 passes. This is too complicated.
True. It is too complicated.
Neither can Trey Lance.
He's not enough of a veteran for that. You're right. He hasn't gotten a lot of playing time.
Yeah, it's impossible.
That's
you can't hand off to Debo. It's too hard.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
So I'm stealing this one from your Twitter timeline. Over under 10 snaps for D. Let's go 10.5 to make it fair. So that way you can't. There's 10.5 snaps for D Ford. Over under this week.
Under.
I agree with you. I'm definitely taking the under in this parlay. Yes, absolutely.
Under.
Because he's only going to play on third down, and he's not going to. Yeah.
Is he going to play? I don't even know if he's going to play. We'll see.
That's true.
D4.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point. Okay. All right. Over or under 30.5 team carries for the 49ers this weekend.
Damn. Oh, man. Oh, damn. Oh, I don't know. That's a good one. Over.
That's a good sign. All right. I'm also going with the over, and that spells good things for the 49ers. Okay. Over or under 0.5 touchdown catches for George Kittle.
I'm going to say over.
I'm going to go under. I don't think he gets one in the end zone this week.
Okay. All right. It seems the reason I said over is that it seems like they're finally looking to calling his number in the red zone. So
yeah,
I'm expecting a higher scoring game, and I think he's going to get his number called. So if he doesn't mess up, he might get an opportunity.
Okay. All right. I like the optimism. Wow, this is very optimistic of you. All right. Over or under. Now, this is 2 straight games. Jimmy has not turned the ball over. So over or under 0.5 interceptions for Jimmy Garoppolo.
Over. And here's why. He's going against his kryptonite. Good linebackers.
He can't see him.
He can't. And like I ridiculed him a lot in training camp, but the fact is he was going against Fred Warner, who's a good linebacker. And Fred just ate his lunch daily.
Yeah,
a lot of people did too, but it was a lot of Fred Warner. Eric Kendricks has done it before. He can do it again. Anthony Barr as well. It's a bad matchup. What he was saying today is like they play top down, which basically means they kind of hang out at 10 yards and want you to check down. And Jimmy's trying to throw that 10-yard pass over the middle. So good luck. Basically,
I think it's interesting that he addressed it.
He's prepared for it, but it's almost like a reflex for him. We'll see. It's a bad, over.
He can't help but to throw a ball to a good linebacker. He loves it.
Says Jimmy's never gone 3 straight games without an interception. Yeah,
that's true. Yep.
And the last time he played a game at Levi's, he threw a pick. So remember, the Niners play worse at Levi's. That's the thing about that.
That's true.
And
that is very true.
No longer exists. Did you know that? Like last year, the road teams won one more game than the home teams, and I think this year it's like the road teams are slightly more successful. Like home field advantage is a myth. It no longer
the home field advantage. I would have understood that maybe last year with COVID, right? Nobody in the stands. But this year, I think
it's still road teams have like a couple wins over on the home team. I could be wrong on that, but check that out. And I know that Vegas still gives you 3 points, but I don't think it's a thing anymore. I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe it's a thing in playoffs, but not in the regular. I don't know. All right, more over under.
Okay. All right. Over or under 0.5 sacks for Mr. Nick Bosa.
That's a good one. Over, because I feel like he's kind of found a way to kind of get his little like garbage time sacks. I don't know. Like he's getting better. Whether or not he's making a huge impact on a game, he finds a way to get a sack. So I'm gonna say over. I'm not betting against Nick Bosa. He's very consistent right now.
He is very consistent. I'm gonna go under. I think that they can deploy a similar game plan to the Packers where they get the ball out of Kirk Cousins' hands very quickly, and then they can also run the ball. So I'm going to say under for that one.
Cool.
All right, 90.5 yards over under total yards for Debo, 90.5.
Good question. Over. I think the Niners are going to feed him hard the rest of the year. You're thinking, oh, you got to be careful with him. Yada, yada, yada. Nope. They ride their first contract guys with no conscience. No conscience. You see what they're doing with Kittle now. They're being very careful with Kittle. But Debo, you want to go for 2,000 yards, go for it. Yeah, over. Over. They can't win. If it's less than 90, they lose. So, yeah, over.
Yeah, I'm with you. And then over or under 0.5 forced turnovers for the 49ers in this game.
Under. The Vikings are actually pretty good at not turning the ball over. And the Niners, really, it's not their thing. They've gotten some turnovers the last couple of weeks because Matthew Stafford, Tyler Higbee, and Josh Norman. Under.
All right, I'm with you. I think under as well. I don't. They haven't done a good job at forcing turnovers. No, they're not. They're not. I agree. Yeah, I agree with you. I say under as well. Yeah.
All right.
That's it for over under. That was good.
Cool. Sean says Colt is in Grant's Dwelly Mully Club. Dwelly can play. Mullins would be an all-star if bounce passes. Anyway, be blessed, Grant. Thank you, Sean. Hey, man, like, how come Colt can't get any credit when Jimmy gets hella credit right now? Like, Colt's doing more. I'm just saying. I'm not a big Jimmy fan, but if we're on the Jimmy scale, let's give Colt some credit. I mean, just because he's a little bit shorter and uglier.
You said it.
He's a good-looking guy.
Is he though? Is he?
Is it true that going to happen? 40 NFL teams? No.
Whoa, what?
40 NFL teams. That seems like too much.
Yeah, there's
not enough good offensive linemen for 40 NFL teams. How about that?
Make it NFL Europe for an offseason in the spring or something. I don't know.
Hey, so hold on. Hold on. So tell me what you think about this. So I asked Kyle Shanahan a sneaky question today. I asked him about minor league football.
Okay.
Because he said like he wanted one. I was like, off topic, but a little fantasy, like a little football philosophy question. What do you think about minor league? Could it work? So here's what he said. Yeah, anything could work. I don't know if it would make money. I don't know how that could go for anything, but that's just what's tough. It's tough to develop guys when you hold on. Here's the key part. It's tough to develop guys when you get only OTAs in training camp, and those are getting taken away a lot. So it's really good for veterans who've made it, who don't need to be developed, but everyone else needs time. And especially at certain positions like quarterback. But it's almost impossible to do that with just practice squad. If you ask Kyle Shanahan like a question directly, he deflects it. But if you ask something a little bit off the topic, he'll go right into it and incriminate himself. Like, yeah, I'd really like a minor league because it's impossible to develop quarterbacks in practice. Oh, is that so? Is that what you're saying, Kyle? Really? You can't develop quarterbacks in practice, huh? That's what he said, right? That's what he said. All I did was ask, what do you think about a minor league? And he's like, oh, it would be great because it's impossible to develop these freaking quarterbacks. It's like, oh, okay. Well, thanks, Kyle. Great. Good to know. Like, where's your lawyer to be like, no, plead the fifth. What are you doing? Stop. What?
Dude, that's so bad. That's so bad.
Anyway,
that's 2 weeks in a row he said something along those lines. 2 weeks in a row.
Week it was like he needs that game time experience because he knows the whole playbook. Jimmy still has nightmares from Kendrick's INT. No. He still has nightmares of missing. Maybe he does of missing. Emmanuel Sanders. He's pulled the trigger deep 3 times this year. He hit Debo twice and hit Jair Alexander once. Okay. Last topic. Prediction time.
All right. So, as I said, I feel like this is playoff type game. Once this game's over, we're going to know one way or another the real answer to the question, contender, pretender. I really believe that. So that being said, things are really starting to fall the 49ers' way. They have figured out their identity, which we knew what their identity should be all season. Why did it take them so long to figure it out? But at any rate, they figured it out, run the hell out of the ball. You've now got 3 starting defensive linemen out for the Vikings. One, including Tomlinson, who's not talked about as much. That's a big 330-pound man that is not going to be there. The guy replacing him weighs closer to 280. That's a win for you. The 49ers have to run the hell out of the ball. They have to run the hell out of the ball. And they cannot turn the ball over. Those two things. And by the way, guess what? Those things go hand in hand, along with keeping your defense off the field as much as possible. That's it. That's what the 49ers have to do. I believe they get it done. 30-27 San Francisco.
Ha ha! That is interesting that you chose 30-27. I was thinking 30-27 too. I was definitely thinking 30-27 as well. Minnesota. I'm sorry. And if the Niners win, it's a big deal. I'm not gonna be like, oh, it was just Minnesota. Like, no, that was a huge win. I think Minnesota's gonna win this game, and I'd be happy to be wrong. I really would be happy. I want to cover a playoff game. It'll be a lot of fun. But I just don't see how the Niners cover Justin Jefferson. How do they do that? How? Explain that one to me. Now, the Vikings lost Everson Griffin. That's cool. I expect the Niners offense to look really good. I expect them to put up 27 points in this game, no doubt. But Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, I don't know. I mean, there's only so much that Nick Bosa can do. And Fred Warner's a hell of a player, but he can't cover Justin Jefferson. Mosley can't cover Justin Jefferson. Josh Norman damn sure can't. I'm sorry. 30-27 Vikings.
Yeah, and their corners aren't going to travel. So they're going to send a say, all right, Norman, you're really old and slow. Cover Jefferson. Go. It's not going to happen. They're not going to be able to.
And don't think they won't put Jefferson in the slot. And they'll give K1 some. I'm sorry. I don't know. I mean, there's things D'Amico can do. And if let's say, here's where the Niners have their best chance is if Kirk Cousins does what Matt Stafford did. Just throw 2 picks real quick and fall behind 14-0. The Niners will be cool. They could just hand the ball off to Debo and Elijah Mitchell and just cruise. But if that doesn't happen and it's like a close game or they fall behind, it's tough because you don't have the secondary to handle this firepower. And every time the Niners have gone against a team that's had like a couple legit threats at receiver, they've lost. The best win the Niners have had this year is the Rams, who just had Cooper Kupp. People don't understand how big that loss of Robert Woods was.
Yeah.
If they had Woods, I don't know that the Niners would have won that game. So it is just Kirk Cousins, and the Niners have done it good against him, and he's really not mobile. I mean, God, Nick Bosa could sack him 7 times. But Justin Jefferson is a problem. Kyle Shanahan said he might be the best wide receiver in the league. He's not lying.
No. You say it's just Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is actually a really good freaking football player. He worries me.
He's going to be the best quarterback on the field. Because look, I mean, they both have their limitations, but Kirk doesn't have mental PTSD on the deep ball. He will sling it. Jimmy won't.
No problem. 3.5 to 1 TD to INT ratio the last 3 years. You take his last 5 years averages, they're better than the 2019 season from Jimmy. He's a way better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Ellis 10 says Cousins had over 6 passes dropped by his defenses this season. His numbers are not at great as they seem. The Niners get 2+ turnovers this game. All right, if they get 2+ turnovers this game, they definitely win. Honestly, I'm not picking the Vikings with a lot of confidence because they're not that great. They're 5-5. No. They have a crap run defense, and they lost both of their defensive ends. Like, the Niners certainly could win. And if they do, I'll tip my cap and say I still think they're pretenders. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that. But
yeah,
the Niners are going to have to beat a team like Dallas, Tampa, Green Bay, or Arizona round 1. I'm not sure they have shown they can do that yet. But Aaron Rodgers got a messed up toe. You never know.
Yeah, he does have a messed up toe. That thing is gnarly.
Yeah. All right, that's the show. You think the Niners are going to win? You're Mr. Positivity.
I am. I know. Yeah. A little too positive, maybe.
A little too positive, my thing. No, that was a good show. Thank you very much, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, absolutely. To everybody. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.